Signing up for a parenting reality show. My daughter Emily burst into tears on camera. I'm just a poor little girl who's never had a daddy's love. Can you imagine how happy I'd be if Alex could be my father? The Oscar-winning actor Alex chuckled. I'd be honored to be your dad. But what would your real father say about this? Emily instantly stopped crying. Let me ask Daddy then. She dialed her father's number. Chirping. Daddy? I want Alex to be my new father. If you don't say no, I'll take that as a yes. I stared dumbfounded. Sweetheart. Your father's been in a vegetative state for years. That same day, Ethan, the comatose scion of the prestigious Johnson family who hadn't moved a finger in 5 years, miraculously regained consciousness. Baffling medical experts. As Laura, a list actress and box office queen known for my flawless reputation and dedication to craft. I'd been away filming for 2 months. The moment I returned home, I faced brutal roasting from my own flesh and blood. My daughter Emily stood hands on hips in her princess dress, side-eyeing me. Brother. Look! Who's this stranger in our house? The sugary voice dripped with sarcasm. My son Dan glanced up from his book in deadpan. No idea. Since when don't you recognize your own mother? Emily dramatically slapped her knee, eyes widening with faux realization. Oh! It's our runaway mommy who abandoned her family. Did you finally remember your poor husband and children waiting by Lake Washington? My eye twitched. These kids had clearly leveled up their sass during my absence. Guiltily clutching my designer bag, I mumbled. I came back as soon as filming wrapped. Emily turned to Dan with a world-weary sigh. See? Work always comes first for mommy. I physically muffled her merciless little mouth. Enough. I'm signing us up for Baby Project, a parenting reality show. After this, I'll retire to spend more time with you both. Promise. Prying my hand away, Emily sniffed. I'll go, if you say princess. Please grace this show with your presence. Seizing the olive branch, I immediately obliged. The blushing 5-year-old finally nodded. Dan, however, declined. I'll stay with Grandpa. Good luck with your publicity stunt. My genius son, born mere minutes before his sister but already being groomed as the Johnson heir, had the emotional intelligence of a Fortune 500 CEO. Thanks to him, I'd become the ultimate Nepo mom in elite circles. On filming day, the camera crew invaded our mansion for the live-streamed show. At the airport lounge, I froze upon seeing Alex, Hollywood royalty from the Harper dynasty. My recent co-star in a blockbuster romance that spawned endless shipping forums. The moment we appeared on screen together, viewers exploded. OMG, Laura and Alex reunion. Their chemistry could power New York City. Wait, why's Ethan trending? Some billionaire woke up from coma? Focus, people. Emmy's trying to auction her daddy. True to form, Emily had climbed onto Alex's lap mid-interview, batting her lashes. Alex? Want to adopt me? My daddy won't mind, he's basically furniture. The live chat imploded as Alex played along. Darling, even if I wanted to, your mother would never. Mommy says yes. Emily shrieked, pointing at where I'd been chugging coffee to survive this madness. Thousands of viewers watched me accidentally inhale my latte. Thus began the most chaotic 72 hours in reality TV history, complete with trending hashtags #DaddyWars and viral memes of Ethan's hospital monitors spiking during our broadcast. The Johnson family group chat exploded with messages from Liv, turn off the cameras before he sees his kids selling him on live TV. Meanwhile, Dan calmly texted me from his Wall Street Journal reading nook frowny face, I told you reality TV was a bad idea. As for Ethan, security footage later showed the newly awakened tycoon gripping his hospital bed rails, eyes locked on the live stream. Rasping his first words in half a decade, cancel that man's IMDb credits. The end, or as Emily would say, to be continued in season 2. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit! The feast couple is on screen together? On a parenting reality show? Ah! Feast couple shippers rejoice. Who knew they'd do a parenting show together? I hereby declare this our shipper's golden year. P.S. We only ship the characters, not the actors IRL. I glanced curiously at Alexander Harper. He wasn't on the official guest list. The camera crew director explained, Mr. Harper is our specially invited trial father. I nodded slightly. I see. My daughter piped up in her milky voice. Mom. I know him. He's the Oscar winner who plays your TV husband. Alexander chuckled. Seems like someone's been keeping up with your mom's career online. Emily's cheeks pinkened as she nodded. Those big Disney princess eyes looked up at Alexander before she suddenly tugged my sleeve. Mom. She stage whispered. I have this unpolished idea. What if the movie star became my daddy? My eyelid twitched violently. If you know it's unpolished, stop polishing it. Instantly. Emily's rosebud mouth quivered. You don't understand me at all. Mom. She clasped her chubby hands dramatically. I'm just a poor fatherless girl craving paternal love. Her cherubic face crumpled like a discarded candy wrapper. Can you even imagine how happy I'd be if Mr. Harper were my dad? I stared. Kid. When you grow up, remind me to submit your Oscar reel. Alexander's lips quirked. I'd be honored. But shouldn't we check with your actual father first? Wait. Hold up, didn't I already turn you down last time? I'm literally married. What's this nonsense? Emily brightened instantly. Okay. I'll ask Dad right now. Before I could react, she dialed our butler on her sparkly smartwatch. Mr. Chin, put the phone to Daddy's ear, please. Then came the kicker, Daddy? I want the movie star to be my new dad. If you don't object in 3 seconds, I'll take that as consent. My jaw dropped. Sweetheart, your father's been comatose for 3 years. Since when does he video chat? See? No objections. Emily chirped. I snatched the watch. He can't object. You little schemer. Stop bullying your vegetative father. The director's eyes lit up like Christmas lights. What do you mean he can't speak? Emily blinked innocently. Oh. Daddy's just, super shy. Because my dad is a vegetable, MMPH. I swiftly covered Emily's mouth. But the damage was done. The entire studio fell into stunned silence while the live stream chat exploded. Holy shit! Laura Carter's husband is a vegetable? Now we know why she never announced her husband. Forget the A-list actor joining the parenting show or the exes reuniting, this is the real tea. So even internet sleuths couldn't dig up that he's comatose. I'd specifically told Emily not to mention her father's condition before filming. Yet she blurted it out during the premiere. This would trend within the hour. The awkward tension shattered when our producer received a call. One of our celebrity families was in a car accident en route to the airport. He announced gravely, "We're suspending filming immediately." Back at our rented mansion. My phone rang. Dan's voice trembled with excitement. Mom. Dad's awake. I froze. You, what? You heard right. Dad opened his eyes. We raced to the Johnson family estate, the old money dynasty controlling half of New York's financial sector. Ethan had been their golden child, Wall Street prodigy. Fortune 500 CEO by 30. Possessor of that bone structure that launched 1,000 tabloid covers. 5 years in a coma hadn't diminished his aristocratic pallor. Maintained by 7-figure medical equipment and round-the-clock specialists. Grandpa Johnson stood weeping in the courtyard, surrounded by relatives. The patriarch who'd raised Ethan and Olivia after their parents' yacht accident looked decades younger tonight. Let the doctors finish their evaluation. He rasped. The lead physician emerged dazed. It's miraculous. Vital signs are unstable. But, he's coherent. Let him rest until morning scans. Relatives dispersed. We entered the master suite to find Ethan propped against silk pillows. Those infamous mercury gray eyes tracking our entrance. My throat tightened. This was our first meeting since Grandpa Johnson arranged our marriage during his coma, complete with 2 IVF children he'd never consented to. Grandfather. Ethan acknowledged calmly, his voice roughened by disuse. The old man choked back tears. You're really here. I stood paralyzed, hyper-aware of Emily clinging to my leg and Dan's hopeful stare. What did one say to a stranger who'd fathered your children during his vegetative state? The man whose family paid me $20 million annually to play grieving widow? My phone buzzed incessantly, the comatose husband hashtag now topped Twitter. My publicist texted, damage control impossible. Kid spilled it live. I typed back, let it ride. Truth's out. Ethan's gaze swept over me, lingering on our daughter. So, he said, that Wall Street shark intellect already reassembling itself. Shall we discuss this arrangement? The Johnson heirloom clock ticked louder. Somewhere, a stock market crashed. Grandpa Johnson's eyes instantly reddened with emotion. He sat down on the chair beside the bed and began telling Ethan about how helpless he'd felt after Ethan's coma from the car accident. He'd exhausted every option before reluctantly arranging a wife for him through medical technology to conceive his children. At this point, he turned to look at me and the twins, pausing thoughtfully before stating solemnly, Laura has been remarkable. She gave you twins, a boy and a girl, without your prior consent. Yet she's cared for you and the children diligently. I've witnessed it all. She chose to marry you under extraordinary circumstances, which couldn't have been easy. Now that you're awake, I expect you to treat her well. Let her stay where she is while you bridge the gap. Ethan glanced up at me, his dark eyes unreadable. He nodded faintly, voice low. Understood. The old man brightened. I knew you'd agree. But no bullying her. Hear me? Got it. Grandpa. Satisfied. Grandpa Johnson reminded Ethan to rest before leaving. As he departed, he handed Ethan his phone with a meaningful look. Your phone, only I've accessed it. Ethan shot me an inexplicable glance but stayed silent. Emily tugged at my side, asking Ethan, Daddy, how'd you wake up? Ethan's gaze darkened. Pure rage. He locked eyes with her. That was you calling earlier, right? Repeat what you said to my face. Me? Blurting out. You could hear everything while comatose? Ethan nodded. I've always been aware of my surroundings, even unconscious. Emily's eyes widened dramatically. Wow. You're so petty you rage awakened yourself. Ethan's pale face flushed. Dan turned to his sister, puzzled. What did you even say on the call? She chirped. I told Daddy. I want Alex Harper to be my dad now. If you don't answer, I'll take that as a yes. Absolutely not. Ethan snapped instantly. Emily ducked behind me. Dan face palmed. Calling our vegetative dad to bully him? So cringe. Ethan. I stifled a laugh. This kid truly had a way with words. Emily peeked out, mumbling. But I did wake him up. Doesn't that count? Me. Ethan. Dan? Undeterred, Emily marched to the bed, hands on hips. Since my pettiness woke you, let's call it even. Deal? Deal. Ethan deadpanned, letting her verbal gymnastics end the matter. Claiming he'd slept enough, Ethan stayed up chatting with the twins about their kindergarten adventures. He listened warmly, engaging with every exaggerated story. At dinner, the butler brought a wheelchair, carefully transferring Ethan into it. I pushed Ethan to the dining room for dinner. Our son Dan volunteered to feed his father. Our daughter Emmy immediately chimed in. Let me do it. I want to feed Daddy, I gently said. Both of you eat properly. Mommy will take care of feeding Daddy. The children nodded obediently. Turning to Ethan, I offered. I'll feed you. Just tell me what you'd like. And I'll get it for you. Ethan inclined his head slightly. I appreciate it. After the meal, I found myself deep in thought. Before Ethan woke from his coma, we'd shared a room for easier caregiving, helping him bathe, administering massages, monitoring his condition. Now that he was conscious, should we start sleeping separately? Emmy, I said to our daughter, since Daddy's awake now, would it be okay if I slept in your room tonight? She blinked those big innocent eyes. But why does Daddy being awake mean you have to sleep with me? Well, before this, Mommy needed to stay close to take care of Daddy. Now that he's awake, I trailed off as Dan interrupted. But Daddy's still recovering. Doesn't he need your help? And shouldn't married people sleep together anyway? The question caught me off guard. I instinctively turned toward Ethan, only to find his dark eyes already locked on mine. His lips quirked in that infuriatingly attractive half-smile that always made my breath catch. My fingers tightened involuntarily against the fabric of my skirt. Ethan's voice rumbled low and warm. Our son makes an excellent point. As husband and wife, we should maintain our usual arrangements. Besides, his gaze turned molten. I still require your attentive care. Heat flooded my cheeks as I nodded. Very well. Later that night, after tucking the children in, I returned to our bedroom. Ethan lounged against the headboard scrolling through his phone. They're asleep? He asked without looking up. Yes. Should I help you with your bath tonight? The corners of his mouth lifted. Laura, while I appreciated your assistance during my coma, now that I'm conscious, his eyes glinted with mischief. Having my wife bathe me might prove distracting. I laughed despite myself. You don't strike me as the bashful type. Oh, but I am. His gaze traveled down my body with deliberate slowness. Terribly so. Shall I ask Alex to assist you then? He already helped me bathe earlier. Nodding, I retreated to the bathroom. When I emerged 30 minutes later in silk pajamas, I found Ethan watching live clips from the parenting reality show Emmy and I had filmed that day. That man looks at you with more than professional interest, Ethan remarked casually, pausing the video on a frame showing Alex's lingering glance. He wants you. My steps faltered. Alex did confess his feelings once. Ethan turned with predatory stillness. Moonlight fractured in his obsidian eyes as he asked too softly. And? What do you think happened? I climbed into bed, deliberately brushing against his legs. I turned him down. Of course. The tension left Ethan's shoulders as he set his phone aside. His fingers traced idle patterns on my wrist. Shall I turn off the lights? The question hung between us, heavy with unspoken promises. My pulse quickened as I nodded, knowing full well neither of us intended to sleep anytime soon. Okay. After turning off the lights, the room plunged into darkness. When Ethan was comatose, I'd grown accustomed to sleeping beside him without issue. Now that he lay awake next to me, I felt oddly restless. My breathing becoming uneven and heartbeat accelerating in the quiet space where only our synchronized breaths could be heard. After a prolonged silence, Ethan suddenly remarked, "You won't fall asleep like this." I turned my head. How did you know? During my coma, I could sense you preferred sleeping sideways, often draping your legs over me. You must be used to hugging a pillow while sleeping. Staying rigidly supine like this won't work. Rolling onto my side to face him, I blurted without thinking. Were you really unconscious? You describe it like you watched me the whole time. Were you faking? Ethan paused before retorting dryly. Who'd pretend to be vegetative for 5 years? That's insane. He had a point. The crazy one here was clearly me. The awkward tension eventually lulled me to sleep. Next morning after breakfast, we left Dan and Emmy at home while I accompanied Ethan to the hospital for checkups. Prearranged services ensured smooth navigation through various departments via wheelchair-assisted routes. By noon, We finished and had lunch at a nearby restaurant before returning for results. The exhausting day took its toll on Ethan's recovering health. He dozed off during the drive home, requiring our butler to carry him straight to bed upon arrival. Searching for the twins, I found them weeping in their room, rosy cheeks streaked with tears, eyes swollen from prolonged crying. My heart clenched as I gathered them close. "What's wrong? Did you two fight?" They shook their heads, lips trembling. "Then why the tears?" I gently pressed. Dan looked up with watery eyes. "Mommy, now that Daddy's awake, will he divorce you and abandon us?" My stomach dropped. Someone had poisoned their innocent minds. "Did someone tell you this?" "It was Aunt Liv." He sniffled. "She said you're a gold digger who only married Daddy for money and had us." "Of course." Olivia Johnson, Ethan's sister and Sophie Williams' staunchest ally. The entire Johnson family had envisioned Sophie, Ethan's college sweetheart and first love, as his destined bride. Her departure abroad had sent Ethan into what many perceived as heartbroken seclusion, cementing her status as his first love in their social circle. Liv never hid her contempt for me since I married Ethan during his coma. Emily choked through renewed sobs. She said, "Daddy never wanted us, that we're not his real children. And that Daddy hates you and us." Dan continued angrily. "That he'll kick us out to become street kids." "Mommy, is it true? Should we never have been born?" At that moment, both children's eyes brimmed with tears as if they'd suffered devastating blows. My heart ached while fury burned in my chest. I hugged them tightly, my voice trembling with tenderness. "No, don't listen to her lies. You're Mommy's most precious treasures. Everything she said was false. You mustn't believe any of it." It took considerable comforting before their sobs subsided and emotions stabilized. "She's told us this many times," my son suddenly revealed. "Aunt Liv said if we dared tattle to you or great-grandpa, she'd make Daddy throw us out when he wakes up." This single sentence shattered my restraint. My eyes turned frosty as I dialed Grandfather Johnson. Within 10 minutes, we arrived at his estate where Liv stood beside his armchair with several staff members. "Laura," Grandfather inquired, "why drag an old man from his nap and summon Liv here?" Liv's mocking voice cut through. "So it was Laura who called me over?" Her gaze met mine, dripping with undisguised arrogance. "What's this about?" Without responding, I guided Emily and Dan to Grandfather's side before striding toward Liv. The sharp crack of my palm striking her cheek echoed through the room, snapping her head sideways. Gasps filled the air. Before anyone reacted, I delivered another stinging slap. Liv clutched her face, shrieking, "You dare hit me, Laura? Have you gone mad?" "Enough!" Grandfather's voice cracked like thunder. I turned to the children. "Tell great-grandpa everything exactly as you told me." As they recited Liv's cruel words verbatim, the old man's expression darkened. When Emily whispered, "Aunt Liv said we never deserved to be born," Grandfather slammed his fist, making everyone jump. I stared unflinchingly at Liv, enunciating each word. "I'll admit before Grandfather now I accepted 10 million to marry Ethan. But you, Liv, dare you repeat your poisonous words to these children in his presence? I tolerated your contempt for me, but harming my baby's mental health? You're despicable. Kneel." Grandfather's roar shook the room. Liv collapsed trembling to her knees. "Long-time housekeeper Mrs. Zhang urged gently. Miss Liv, apologize to Mrs. Johnson." "No apologies accepted," I stated coldly. "We're seeing child psychologists tomorrow. Any issues traced to this, I'll make you pay." Turning to Grandfather, I continued, "Handle this as you see fit. The children need stability. We're returning to the waterfront estate. Please oversee Ethan's care." Ignoring Liv's stunned silence, I led my children out. Grandfather didn't stop us. He knew these past years. Even during film shoots, I'd prioritized being present for every milestone. Every scraped knee. Every bedtime story. My career never overshadowed motherhood. Now more than ever. They needed me whole. But I had no idea Liv had been hurting them. Feeding them those poisonous words. My heart felt like an overturned jar. Guilt and heartache churning into an unbearable ache that tightened my throat. Tears spilled down my cheeks as I hugged my children. I'm so sorry. Sweethearts. I choked out. Mommy didn't know Aunt Liv said those awful things to you. Their tiny hands immediately flew to wipe my tears. Little voices trembling with concern. Don't cry. Mommy. Not your fault. Dan sniffled. Trying to be brave. We're okay. Grandpa Johnson always says we're the best kids ever. Even if Aunt Liv. Emily nodded vigorously. Her pigtails bouncing. Yeah. We didn't believe her. We just wanted you to know. I kissed their foreheads. Tasting salt from my own tears. You're both Mommy's little angels. We spent the afternoon chasing butterflies in the park. Their laughter finally easing the knot in my chest. The golden sunset found us returning to the Johnson estate. Only to find Ethan waiting in the dining room. Save any pot roast for me? His wheelchair creaked as he rolled closer. Those storm gray eyes studying me. My fork clattered against the plate. What are you doing here? Seems my entire family vanished this morning. His lips quirked despite the gravity in his voice. Had to track you down through security cameras. Before I could respond, Dan blurted out. Daddy came. That means he likes us. Right? Ethan's gaze softened as he reached for both children. Listen to me, he said with startling intensity. Even when I was sleeping, I always loved you. Both of you. Emily's question came like a dart to my chest. What about Mommy? Do you love Mommy too? The sudden silence rang louder than church bells. Ethan's throat worked as he turned to me. Emotions warring behind his careful mask. Yes. He finally said. The word falling like a vow. I love your mother very much. My breath caught. 23 years collapsed in that moment, the broken college freshman weeping by the Charles River. The kind stranger who'd found my lost tuition money. The promissory note I'd kept like a love letter. Ethan never knew he'd saved 2 lives that day, mine. And the mother who'd sacrificed everything. Now our children's giggles filled the room as Ethan pretended to steal green beans from their plates. The man who'd rebuilt my world with one white lie sat here radiating quiet devotion. And for the first time, I let myself hope that note might finally come due. Our next encounter was on campus, where I discovered he was the school's heartthrob, someone radiant like sunlight. Later I befriended someone from his social circle. At that friend's birthday party, I saw Ethan for the 3rd time. Through this connection, I started attending their gatherings frequently, increasing our interactions. I can't pinpoint when it began, but I'd instinctively scan rooms for his presence, wondering if he'd show up. Before realizing it, I'd developed quiet feelings, observing him from corners during events. Once, my friend joked about numerous girls crushing on Ethan and asked if I liked him too, knowing I didn't belong in their world and the social chasm between us. I hesitated before answering. No. She called me an exception. Little did she know I was also a liar. People often teased about Ethan and Sophie being the perfect match, golden couple material. Both would just smile without confirming. When Sophie went abroad, Ethan fell into what everyone assumed was heartbreak. The crowd collectively decided she must have been his first love. Eventually Ethan left the country too, and I closed that secret crush chapter of my life, burying it deep. Years later in the entertainment industry, we crossed paths again. Back home, I stared at his WeChat profile. Ever accidentally tapped the tap feature when trying to view someone's moments? He instantly replied with a question mark. Me, meant to check your moments. Hit the tap by mistake. Ethan, why check my moments? Assuming he didn't recognize me. I gambled, wanted to see if you're boyfriend material. Disappointed, your profile's empty. Shockingly. A minute later, just posted one. You can look now. The new photo showed the same boy from my memories. Now with quiet maturity. Me, handsome. Definitely boyfriend material. Ethan, should I say something then? Me, you should say I'll be your boyfriend. Instead of refusal, okay. I'll be your boyfriend. Me, great. Let's start with online dating since I'm traditional. We'll meet when ready. Ethan, deal. That confirmed he truly didn't know my identity. Thus began our 2-year virtual relationship. Until his accident when his grandfather offered me $10 million to marry him. He still doesn't realize I'm his online sweetheart. After dinner cleanup, I scheduled a child psychologist. Next morning, I informed the twins' kindergarten about their absence. Ethan insisted on joining the family trip to the therapist. The evaluation showed our children were psychologically healthy but needed more emotional security. Relieved, I resolved to discuss this with Ethan. Leaving the clinic, remembering the kids' persistent elephant requests, I suggested a zoo visit. Ethan's long lashes lowered slightly, his voice softening with a tinge of disappointment. Not taking me along? I paused briefly before murmuring. Should we bring you then? The corners of his lips lifted, eyes brightening faintly. Okay. At the zoo, Emily and Dan marveled at creatures they'd never encountered. Their excitement boundless. They darted between exhibits, wide-eyed at each new discovery. Ethan and I lingered nearby, answering their eager questions about the animals. I'd insisted on masks as a precaution, while Ethan remained in his wheelchair with his bodyguard close. By midday, the children's energy waned. Emily tugged at Ethan's sleeve, declaring, "Daddy, I'm exhausted. Let me borrow your wheelchair?" My eye twitched. The little schemer had set her sights on his mobility aid. Ethan's eyelids fluttered calmly. "Emmy, tell me, who needs wheelchairs? People who can't walk," she chirped without hesitation. "And if I give you mine?" he countered. Her obsidian eyes sparkled mischievously. "Couldn't you nap on the ground?" A snort escaped me before I could stop it. "This daughter of ours," Ethan deadpanned, "might as well be Swiss cheese." Dan intervened with brotherly reason. "We can rest on the benches." "Emmy," I chuckled, ruffling his hair. "At least the leather jacket's still insulating." Later, the Johnson family steward detailed grandfather's verdict. Liv had endured 20 lashes before collapsing at 10. The remaining punishment awaited her recovery, compounded by ancestral hall penitence. I remained silent. Both the children and their aunt were grandfather's flesh and blood. This discipline cut deep. When the steward inquired about the children's therapy results, I provided reassurances for the old patriarch's peace of mind. As the twins started preschool, doctors encouraged Ethan to practice walking. During our first attempt, my 5'7" frame became a living crutch for his 6'3" stature. His palm against mine sparked unexpected warmth. He managed tentative steps, muscles protesting after 5 dormant years. Slow progress is still progress, I encouraged. Fingers interlaced with his. Disaster struck mid-stride, his balance faltered. Though I caught his waist, our combined momentum sent us crashing down. My back absorbed the impact, stars dancing behind my eyelids as Ethan's weight pinned me. "Mommy? Daddy?" We froze at the twins' synchronized gasp. 2 backpacks hit the floor as wide-eyed preschoolers gaped at their sprawled parents. Our son asked in his adorable little boy voice, "Mommy, Daddy, are you playing Twister?" "Me? What the heck kind of Twister?" Ethan rolled off me, asking anxiously, "Are you okay? Did you get hurt?" I sat up wincing. "It's fine. Not too bad." The twins finally realized what happened and rushed to help me up. The housekeeper hurried over to assist Ethan. Over the next few days, Ethan kept practicing walking, first needing my support with frequent stops, then gradually gaining independence until he moved with complete fluidity. Within weeks, he regained his natural athletic gait. 2 weeks later, when medical tests confirmed full recovery, Ethan resumed control of Johnson Enterprises. News of the Johnson heir's miraculous awakening after 5 years in vegetative state quickly trended. The comment section exploded. Frowny face, they said the Johnson scion would never wake up. 5 years later, medical marvel. Med student here. My husband's finally awake after 5 years. Baby making time. Back off. That's my husband. Why call him husband? I'm skipping to soulmate 40 years ahead. Drooling. Then paparazzi dropped bombshell rumors. Frowny face exclusive. Laura married into Johnson fortune for $10 million when Ethan was comatose. Had twins. Rose from Z-lister to A-list celebrity in 5 years. Connect the dots. Fans and netizens flooded the posts. Supporters raged. Frowny face, brain dead tabloid. How dare you spread poison? I'll shove my pitchfork down your throat. At Laura Carter Studio, send this liar to prison. At Laura Carter Studio, even as neutral observer. This sounds fabricated. Laura's career speaks for itself. The tide turned when Liv tweeted, Laura did take grandpa's $10 million to marry Ethan. Comments shifted. Frowny face, holy shit. The Johnson sister confirmed it. Laura's fans must be choking. Their idol got exposed by family. I realized Liv had leaked to tabloids first. Then publicly outed me when they hesitated. During the uproar, Liv called, see the hate. Laura? Sophie is back from Paris. We'll make sure Ethan knows you're just his $10 million gold digger. Go cry to grandpa, my brother will dump you for Sophie. My chest tightened hearing Sophie's name. Ethan called immediately after, you saw the trending topics? Yeah. Don't look. I'm having it removed. Handling Liv too. You knew she started this? His chuckle vibrated through the receiver. Laura. I'm not stupid. But, you don't think I married you for money? Never. His certainty left me breathless. It felt like a stone had been tossed into the tranquil lake of my heart, sending ripples across its surface. Ethan spoke again through the phone, you're home? Wait 15 minutes. I'm coming back. There's something I need to say in person. Okay. After hanging up, an inexplicable unease lingered until the moment I saw Ethan standing at my doorstep. My eyes widened as realization struck. You knew it was me? He discovered I was his online romance all along. During his recovery, he'd never asked for my phone number, but he'd already known my number from our virtual relationship. Even if he hadn't initially connected the dots. Seeing my contact information must have revealed everything. This was undoubtedly what he wanted to discuss. Yet what came next shattered my expectations. Ethan's lips curved with amusement as he confessed. I've always known. I was waiting to see when you'd come clean. My breath caught. Always? He nodded, moonlight fracturing in his obsidian eyes. I'm not the type to pursue online relationships unless I'm already drawn to the person. My brain short-circuited. You liked me first? That's why you agreed to virtual dating? Correct. The revelation left me reeling. Wait, I was the one who proposed the online relationship. Does this mean you'd been crushing on me before that? Ethan's gaze softened. Since university. Hearing you tell friends you didn't like me shattered me. That's why I left the country. But I thought you left because Sophie disappeared. He intertwined our fingers, warmth spreading through his touch. It was overhearing your rejection that broke me. His thumb brushed my knuckles. My grandfather found our chat history. That's why he approached you about the marriage proposal. He knew about my years-long infatuation. The puzzle pieces clicked into place. All those coincidences. The serendipitous moments, none had been accidental. Discovering mutual long-term crushes felt surreal. Like grasping at a soap bubble destined to pop. Yet as Ethan's steady heartbeat synchronized with mine, reality crystallized. Meeting his gaze, I poured years of secret admiration into 3 words, Ethan. I'm here. I've loved you too. For years. That rejection you heard? It was never true. Sunrise hues danced in his eyes as his smile illuminated the twilight. So this is mutual pining turned partnership? Absolutely. We collided in an embrace that erased every lonely night. Every unsent message. Every stolen glance across lecture halls. That evening, Ethan's social media lit up with my college photo caption "Fortune smiled when my decade-long crush became my wife." I posted his profile shot from those years, sunlight gilding his determined jawline with matching text. Sometimes the person you're meant to find has been waiting in plain sight all along. The digital avalanche began instantly. Trending number 1, Ethan's marriage confession. Trending number 2, real-life romance novel couple. Trending number 3, Johnson airs decade-long crush. Our inboxes flooded within minutes. Entertainment Tonight, couple interview request, name your price. Vogue, exclusive photo shoot proposal for June cover. New York Times, modern love column expansion opportunity. Laughing. I showed Ethan the skyrocketing analytics. Your family's PR team must be having coronaries. He nuzzled my hair. Contentment vibrating through his chest. Let the world buzz. I finally have what matters. As twilight painted our kitchen gold, we drafted the only response that mattered, a joint post featuring our intertwined hands against wedding bands. Captioned simply, "To the quiet beginnings that roar into forever." It's mutual secret crushes with efforts from both sides. Thank you all for the company. Your support fuels my passion for sharing these sweet romance stories. See you next time.